Alright guys, so today we're shooting a live recorded music video. We're shooting it outdoors, all natural light, and we're going to be actually using the audio that we recorded right now in the music video. And in this video I'm going to show you guys the gear that we shot on, the plan that went behind it, how we're shooting with the lighting, and how we actually recorded the audio. But first we're going to show you a quick clip from the music video, and then after that we're going to jump into all the knowledge stuff. Here we go, guys.
So be still my soul, be still my soul, be still and know, be still and go, be still my soul.
For the vision of this video, I wanted something that was really simple, raw, and authentic, and that's why we chose to shoot it outdoors, because it's just a naturally beautiful setting and we can just use the natural light. The audio that we used was the live recording, and even though it was edited, we didn't overproduce it because we wanted to keep that natural tone. The video only switches between two different angles, and we really wanted the talent of the musicians and some really nice composed shots to carry the entire video. We chose this specific location because I just like open fields. I feel like it always looks good because it's not too busy and it gives you a lot of depth. And plus, the mountains and unique trees far in the background add more interest and depth as well. Starting with the audio, at the center of it all is the Zoom PodTrack P4. This is such an underrated piece of gear that can be bought at a great price, and it's much more valuable than just a podcast recorder. Since it does have 4 XLR ports and supplies phantom power, it's great for recording small acoustic sessions like this. You can power this recorder with just 2 AA batteries, but I choose to power it with an external battery pack to give it longer battery life and so that it's still portable. We used 3 of the XLR ports, 1 for vocals, 1 for the guitar, and 1 for percussion. For vocals, we used the Shure SM48, which is a step down from the really popular SM58, but it still sounds great and at a really affordable price. We're passing this microphone through a cloud lifter, which we can use because of the P4's phantom power. Without the cloud lifter, I'd have to turn the gain up to 6 or 7, but with it, I can turn it down to 3, giving us a much cleaner sound. For the guitar, we plugged it into a passive DI box with a 1/4 inch cable, and from the DI box, we plugged it into the recorder with an XLR cord. The DI box allows us to get a clean signal from the guitar without any distortion. And for the cajon, we used another SM48 and just placed it directly behind it. The advantage of shooting outdoors is that you don't have to worry about any echo or any reverb because the sound doesn't have anything to bounce off of. The disadvantage is that you can't control external sounds like people, cars, helicopters, wind, and etc. But fortunately, we chose a really quiet setting and it wasn't a windy day. Another great feature of the P4 is that it can record each source separately, letting you edit each one individually. And so it didn't matter too much if I got the perfect mix while recording. I just needed to make sure that none of the audio was clipping. In post, I kept it really minimal. 1, because I didn't want to overproduce and lose that natural tone. And 2, because I don't think I would have been able to. I'm definitely not an audio person, and I even edited the audio in Final Cut Pro, which isn't the most robust audio editor by any means. So first, I added preset compressors, a soft vocal compressor, an acoustic guitar compressor, and a snare compressor, respectively. I added a limiter to make sure that nothing peaked, and then I just played with the EQs for each source until I got something that sounded pretty balanced. And from there, I just adjusted the levels of each source until I got a mix that sounded good to me. Moving on to the visuals, I already talked about the location we chose and why we chose it, but when we chose to shoot is also very important. We shot at golden hour for all the reasons that people choose to shoot at golden hour. We're getting a nice warm light that's a lot softer than it is during the day, and since the sun is low, it creates this light that's a lot more flattering because of the angle it's at. And since the sun is low, it's going to hit your subject's face at a much more flattering angle. The angle of the light also creates a really dynamic look because of the horizontal shadows that it creates across the frame. We composed our main wide shot with the sun directly to the side of our subjects so that we can get this dynamic look. But the problem is that some clouds rolled in just before we were about to shoot, covering the sun and just completely changing the entire look. It still looked nice because of the diffused light everywhere, but it did make everything look a lot more flat. A little disappointed, but I'm not broken over it. So we did one complete take with the wide front shot, and then we did a second take that we shot with the subjects completely backlit. Shooting at golden hour with the sun directly behind your subject just always looks awesome and cinematic. And it would have looked even cooler if you were able to get that direct sunlight and some sun flares, but it still had a nice moody and contrasty look. Everything was filmed with the Sony A7S III. I won't get too much into the camera because I will post a review of this camera soon, but in short, it's just a beast of a mirrorless camera. The colors and dynamic range on it are great, and it's a camera that you could really use in almost any situation, and it's gonna look amazing. For the main wide shot, it was stationary on a tripod, and we shot with the Viltrox 24mm 1.8 and stopped it up to 2.2 to get a slightly sharper image. I wanted to use the 24mm for this so that we can truly soak in the beautiful environment that we were in, and also to make the viewer feel like they're actually there. We also used a 1/4 black pro-mist filter to soften the image and also get the blooming in the highlights to get a more filmic look. With this shot, I wanted to make sure that it was really nice to compose with our two subjects on the thirds of the frame. For the second angle, I switched over to the Sony 35mm 1.8 and shot it wide open and a lot closer to our subjects to really take advantage of that shallow depth of field. I shot this angle handheld to give it a more raw and authentic feel, and it also was a good contrast to the main angle, which was stationary. Being handheld also made it easy to change up the composition and switch between the singer, the guitar, and the drums. For focusing, I used spot focusing on small and then used a joystick to move the focus spot around. And then to get smoother focus pulls, I changed the focus speed to medium slow so that it didn't look so snappy and robotic. A mistake that we made in this process is that we didn't record audio from the first take with a different recorder so that we can use it as playback for the talent to follow around on the second take. And because of this, I wasn't able to perfectly sync both video takes to the audio. I ended up using the audio from the secondary angle because I felt that the wide angle would be better at hiding not being perfectly synced. And it did accomplish that, but there were parts that were obviously different and it did limit me in the editing process. Overall, I thought that it turned out really well, and the only thing that I wish was different was that it didn't get cloudy. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown. If you didn't, I'm sure you guys enjoyed the awesome music from these two guys. So I want to thank them. Thank you guys for coming out and shooting this with me. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.